Blog Talk Radio. Has anyone ever told you you dream too big, that you have too many ideas, that you need to be realistic? What if there was a career and lifestyle that you could completely design yourself that enables you to do what makes your heart truly sing and helps millions of people benefit from what you have to offer? One that provided you with all the money you need to thrive, not just survive. That is the life of an enlightened entrepreneur. Welcome to the Aha Moments radio show, dedicated to the inspiration, education, and celebration of enlightened entrepreneurs worldwide, with your host, Mariana Cooper, founder of Aha Moments Inc. and AhaMomentsInc.com. Her motto, oh yes, you can have what you want, and you deserve it too. Join us for the next hour and learn to trust your aha moments to lead the way to a passionate and purposeful life. And now here's your host, Mari.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Aha Moments radio show for the inspiration, education, and celebration of enlightened beings worldwide. I'm Mari, and welcome back. I have been off. This is actually the first time in 3 years that I've had this much time off from the radio show. In fact, I think Sam and I have not had any time off in 3 years, and it wasn't like we were off because we were working every day on the telesummit, but we are back now and had to. I needed some time to recharge, and I was just waiting for my guide to say, okay, time to go back, and here we are. So I'm happy to be here, and we're starting our summer season. Today it's going to be me and you. I'm going to do some readings, and if you'd like to call in for a reading tonight, you can do so by calling 347-215-9485. That's 347-215-9485. I'm going to get to those in a little bit, but it's a little different if you were listening to us on the telesummit. You're not going to be raising your hand the way that we did in the telesummit, but Sam will be checking in with each person who's called in, and he'll check you in, and then he lets you know that you're good to go, and we will get to as many of you as we can later on in the show. So again, it's 347-215-9485. I see a ton of you already here, so that's exciting and welcome. But tonight we're going to talk about a lot of things. After the telesummit, it's so intense, right? There's so many speakers, and there's so much information. There's so much to contemplate, to try, and there's a lot of the speakers have classes afterwards and all that kind of stuff. Meetings and whatnot online and all that kind of stuff. And so I wanted to take some time to help to integrate things a little bit, because a lot of times people get overwhelmed, and I actually do get emails from people saying, oh my goodness, that was amazing, but I'm exhausted. I've got so much information. And if you think you're exhausted, I was completely exhausted. I was telling a friend of mine, I felt like I had gone to an energetic car wash without the car. I was just being exposed to so many different modalities and so many different sample healings and whatnot. I think I've even talked about this a little bit before already on the air. And so sometimes we need to take a break and just allow for integration, just allow ourselves to receive the information, and not just the headspace of the information, not just the knowledge, because knowledge is very different than wisdom, right? Knowledge is just information that you've taken in and hopefully you retain. Wisdom is actually the integration of the knowledge you've taken in through life experience. So you've taken it in, you've let it settle, you've applied it to your daily life, you've gotten results or maybe not, and you have garnered new thoughts and new inspirations and new insights based on taking action with the knowledge that you've received. That's what creates wisdom. So a lot of people feel like, they'll refer to somebody who knows a lot of things as wise. And I always say, no, they're knowledgeable, but not necessarily wise. There's two different things. And so this is a time, and it's even a time of year, and this is what our topic is for tonight before we get into the reading. This is a time of year where you might be feeling a little tired. We have very high octane energy in the winter, the late winter and into the spring, and spring in particular, because We're coming into longer days. We're coming into a lot more information as far as, a lot more action, right? We've kind of had, quiet time during the holiday season, and then after January 15th, things start to ramp up and ramp up and ramp up, and then we get to February, March, April, and May, and it's just all systems go. I had a couple of the speakers who tell me, Mari, I can't talk to you again until the fall because I'm exhausted. I'm sorry, I can't come on your radio show. I can't do anything else. I just don't even want to. I don't want to talk to anybody right now. I just need to go in my cave and hibernate. Some of the authors are on hiatus because they're writing books, and when they write books, they can't service clients, so they don't do interviews. They don't come on the shows, And so everybody kind of there's a cycle, and it's interesting because as a producer, you learn that you know that cycle, and it's interesting too because you know that cycle based on people's availability and based on their schedules, but you also know it we also can feel it in the energy of the earth because now our days are getting longer, but the temperatures in most parts of the world are going up. We have I know some places are going through their winter now, but over here in the North America, we're going up in temperature, right? We're getting longer days. It's kind of going towards the dog days of summer. Well, we're going from a growth spurt where we jumped into rebirth and to, birthing projects of planting seeds to, the whole planting season. And we're getting our longer days because we're going into a maturation process, a maturation of the energy, a maturation of the skills, a maturation of the project. And within that maturation also it's kind of like you don't really have a whole lot of excitement. And we're in a stage where you're too far. The excitement of going into the tunnel is done because you're already in the tunnel. And you're right in the middle of the tunnel or getting close to the middle of the tunnel where you can't see where you came in anymore because you're too far gone. But you also can't see the light at the end yet because it's off in the fall harvest, right? So a lot of times we get to this time of year, I know for me personally, and we kind of just flatline. It's just like, OMG, I can't even think about being creative. I don't want to. If you're waking up thinking, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to, work on this project. I don't want to start anything new right now. You're not alone. And there's a couple of other aspects that are going on as well. One of those aspects is we're a few weeks off of Mercury in retrograde. Mercury goes in retrograde June 26th, but we're also just finished a phase of eclipses, which happened in May, late May. So we just finished those. And right now we're also in a waning moon. So the moonlight is getting less and less. And those who have listened to the show hear me talk about the moon phases and everything. Why do I talk about all that? Because it affects how things are going in your world. It affects your relationships. It affects your health. It affects your ability to sleep well at night. It affects your ability to work. It affects, especially if you're an entrepreneur or have your own business, it affects your cash flow. It affects how many people are going to show up for various things. And so it's important to understand that, as I talk often about as above, so below. You can be saying that over and over again. There's a integration, there's a linking between the energetic and the physical. And this is important to take in your world. One of the points that my guide said to me, they said, please make this point tonight on the show, and that is once you've heard information, so you've heard it, right? Once you've heard like the spiritual information or new information, you've been exposed now to the insights, to that knowledge and the potential of wisdom from that information. You're responsible for it. So you can't kind of gather all this information and then say, okay, I get it, but I'm going to go back to my comfort zone. I mean, you certainly can. But that comfort zone will never be really comfortable again because the information that you're gathering is calling you forward. Even if it's calling you forward to debate it, it's calling you forward into contemplation. And once you start doing that, you start spinning that energy of forward progression. There's no going back, especially not in this new energy. So the reason why I'm saying this is that if you've heard these concepts before, for those of you who are listening and hearing it now, and it's not a threat or anything, it's just from my own personal experience, there's a level of responsibility that you have energetically now to yourself and to your greater self in your physical beingness, in your physical bodies, that requires that you take this information into consideration and ideally start to act on it a bit, because it'll just make life easier, especially in this new energy, because it's very, very highly charged. As you can see from all the various things going on with the weather, in various parts of the country, Oklahoma, and the storms. We have a tropical storm coming in already. I'm like, in May, this is insane. That we know hurricane season actually has already started, but it doesn't really affect most people around here, at least on the East Coast, until September, and now they're already talking about a tropical storm over the weekend coming up. So things are changing, right? And we can move along with this quite nicely if we take the information that we're receiving and gathering, and we take it seriously, and we allow ourselves time to integrate, meaning also known as take action on it and apply it in our daily life. Now, does that mean you have to be obsessive and jump in head first and do every single thing you hear? No. Discernment is really, really good too. So you don't necessarily have to believe and take action on every single thing that you hear, especially if it makes you feel, extremely anxious or heavy or skeptical or, uncomfortable. There's a reason to take pause for sure. The discernment is always good, but just collecting, and not taking action will actually cause more difficulties than it's worth. Okay, so let's talk about what's coming up. We have, like I said, Mercury in retrograde starts June 26th through July 20th. And the reason why I bring that up now, because it's only June 4th, is that one of the things you really want to do, we have plenty of time, you have a good 20 days, because it always starts to take effect before the day it starts. It starts to take effect at least 3 days before. Some people say we're in the shadow like a week before, but, for your own sanity, 3 days before. You want to make sure that you, at this time, tie up any loose ends with contracts that need to be signed. If you're thinking about leasing a home, a car, an apartment, getting a mortgage, get anything that's going to require contracts or signing of contracts or the initiation of contracts, and that could be, employment contracts as well, consulting contracts. If you're a realtor, you're, dealing with clients and whatnot, you want to get as many contracts signed and initiated before the retrograde period. Also, if you are having any medical work done, any dental work done, any testing done, you want to do that also. What is it? What's the word I'm looking for? I can't believe I just lost my word. Preferably you want to do that before you go before Mercury in retrograde. The same thing with purchasing big ticket items, cars, ovens, iPods, iPads, anything electronic, any large purchases, flat screen TVs, vacuum cleaners. If you need to get stuff done to your car, you want to make sure that you get those things done ahead of time, so that when you get into that Mercury retrograde phase, you don't have the chance of things reversing. Because what happens is, can you get your car fixed during Mercury retrograde? Yes. But will they normally miss something and you'll have to go into it again? Yes. And I have had, and then you get into a spin, because then you have to get it fixed again, and then it doesn't really work again. And, it gets, that's the part about Mercury retrograde that gets a little hairy for people. So I always try to let people know well in advance, so you can plan your month and prepare for that. So, all right. So let me just see. Oh, yeah. All right. So we have one other announcement, and then I'm going to get into more of the finding your second wind, because I know for me, that was one thing I said to my the other day. I was thinking, okay, what do I have to do now? Oh, my gosh, I have the book. I have this. I have that. And tying up all the accounting, the telesum. The telesum is as much work after it's over as it was during doing it. And so I was saying to my guys, I don't even need a second wind anymore, because the second wind was spent like 10 months ago. I need like a seventh wind. Can you send me a seventh wind? And when I said that, I think I was writing or something, it hit me. I was like, that would be a great topic for a show, because I know that this is the time of the year when we kind of are energetically and just seasonally in that space. They're just sort of dragging right now. And it's a lot of endings right now, right? You have graduations and people are new beginnings. You have your weddings and all that kind of stuff. It's a high season for lots of transition right now, right? We're transitioning. It's a really good time for that. But, energetically and just physically, it's exhausting. So the other thing that's happening is, and this is actually one announcement, is I have had a lot of emails about what's next now that the telesummit is over. I have a class starting on Monday, and it's called As Above, So Below, and we will be doing some advanced stuff with multidimensionality and actually applying all of the principles of multidimensionality to our everyday physical waking lives, like paying the bills and relationships and life and just life, getting through life in general, but employing and integrating all of these big esoteric, energetic things that we've been hearing about and applying them to our everyday world. So on the break, I will get you the link to the page for the class description. I actually don't have it up on my computer. I thought I did. And I'd love to have you join me. I actually pushed it back a week because I needed another week to recharge my batteries. But we will be starting on Monday. And it'll just be a 4-week class. So just 4 Mondays in the month of June. So we'll be done by the end of June. And I'm really looking forward to this. This is a totally new channel class. It's going to be recorded, so if you have to miss a class, you can certainly listen to the replays. I'll be doing a channel guided activation each class, and as they were downloading the class, I was like, wow, this is really, really much more advanced than I've done in the past. And when I say advanced, it's not advanced in the sense of hard. It's just advanced in the sense of the type of teachings that are coming out now and how to use the energy and master the energy in their everyday life. The integration process is much further along than they've ever really explained before, so I'm excited about that. And it'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern on Monday nights for the rest of June, starting this coming Monday. So I will get you that link when we go after our first break. So, all right, let's get into a little bit of finding your second wind, because I know this is a pretty popular topic. And one of the things I think happens when you get to this point is that we have a tendency to think that maybe our projects aren't working, maybe we should actually quit, maybe we should just give up for a while or procrastinate. And this is actually not a good time to do that. What it is a good time for, though, is to, like I said, recognize that nature goes in cycles. And what do you naturally do? What did you naturally do when you were in school age? You took vacation, right? You took time off. You're sort of gearing up and winding down from that high octane, heavy push energy, and you're going into that more neutralizing space, that sort of idle space, and into more playtime, right? Because that's what summer camp was all about. So this is a time of year where it's important to sort of shift your schedule around. Like I know, for me personally, and it helps to know your cycle. For me personally, I'm better with projects. It needs to have a beginning, it needs to have a middle, and it needs to have an end. Like the project needs to, at some point, go away. Even though I love it and I love everyone and everything, I need the project to end so that I can have a fresh kind of new beginning with something new. That's just my creative energy. That's how my engine works. There are other people who like things to stay the same. They don't like the variety. There are a lot of financial people. They like, methodical, process-oriented, concrete. For me, it has to be, it has to have like more of a seasonal spike, and then I need to go away. And then a seasonal spike, and then I go away again. And that's just how my energy flows. It's really important to understand your own personal ebbs and flows, and then as best you can, watch the seasons, watch the moon phases, waxing, waning. We're in retrograde for Mercury and retrograde. There's other planets that retrograde, but Mercury is usually the strongest one that has one of the biggest effects. And just sort of loosely keep an eye out and know that if you're at this time of year feeling like tired, it's because it's normal. you're not being delinquent. Okay, so to try to beat yourself into submission right now is probably not the best thing. This is a time where if you can swing it, bring on a virtual assistant to help you if you have your own business. Delegate some things out. Prioritize which projects make you feel the best and pick one to focus on instead of trying to multitask across 5 or 6. Take more time in nature. You have a lot longer days now. We have warmer weather in most cases. I know it's rainy season for some places, but, to the best of your ability, get outside. Harness that energy of nature and go with the season. You might want to also eat lighter. I know that, all of a sudden we're craving a lot of fruit, salads, all that kind of stuff. This is all it's called following the energy. This is what produces the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th wind. Okay? Is to follow the energy and not to work against yourself and cannibalize yourself by working against the energy, by trying to force fit what you have to have in a time where it's just not the right, support for you. Now, does that mean that if you're in a situation where your back is against the wall and you have to do it, you don't? No, you go ahead. But just also recognize that if you're in that situation, then you need to take even more time for nurturing yourself. This is a really important time to go for your massages, for the ladies out there, your manis, your pedis, even the guys, they get manis and pedis now too. And get your nurturing, eating well, drinking, getting really hydrated. It's a great time for going to those nature walks, like we always talk about that energetic and spiritual hygiene, and following the flow. Okay? So I'm going to stop here because on the radio show, we actually have breaks. I forgot. It's just so busy doing telesummits, so we just power through for 90 minutes. But we're going to actually take a break. Now, when I come back, we'll talk a little bit more about this. I see so many of you calling in for to chat, so I'm going to start taking calls right on the other side of the break. And if you'd like to call in, the number is 347-215-9485. That's 347-215-9485. And I'll start taking your calls on the other side of the break. All right? So I'm Mara. You're listening to the Aha Moments radio show, and we will be right back.
Step back in time to the very beginning, before life as we know it existed. Stones have been on this earth since before the inception of man. They are keepers of ancient wisdom and messages. Tap into the profound wisdom of stones and let your journey begin at the Rock Girl Sacred Stone School. Let the Rock Girl take you back to those ancient days to learn firsthand the language and the secrets of stones. The Rock Girl will teach you how to develop your very own technique of communicating with them, allowing you to embark on your own path of self-discovery. Courses include Reiki, psychic development, chakra balancing and auric cleansing, hands-on healing, and more. Visit sacredstoneschool.com for classes and workshops taught exclusively by the Rock Girl of therockgirl.com.
Do you ever get a hunch about something and ignore it, only to find out later you were right after all? Do you know that you're intuitive but need help interpreting what you get? Need quick answers to burning questions but don't have the time to wait for a private reading? Then Mari's Intuitive Living Oracle cards are the tool for you. 45 gorgeous laminated cards and a full book of interpretations come together in a beautiful velvet bag. The cards have been designed and energized to give you the answers right now. No more sleepless nights weighing pros and cons. Ask the cards your questions and see what message your intuition has for you. To learn more and get your deck now, go to the store at www.ahamomentsinc.com and click on the Intuitive Living cards now. That's the store at ahamomentsinc.com. The answers are truly within your reach.
Are you at a crossroads in your life, facing big decisions about your life purpose, business, relationships, or other major issues? Are you wondering why you may be delayed in getting what you want? Or if you have special guides who are helping you? Then investing in a private intuitive reading with Mari is just what you need. As a third-generation spiritual intuitive, Mari has worked with thousands of clients over the past 18 years. During your private session, you will learn who your guides are, receive insight on the core issues that need attention, and get new perspective, clarity, and inspiration on what to do next. To register, go to www.ahamomentsinc.com and click on the Work with Mari tab to get all of the details. There are a limited number of spots each month, so go to www.ahamomentsinc.com for yours now.
Hello, we are back. You're listening to the Aha Moments radio show. I'm Mari, and we are talking all about getting our second wind. That's really because I needed a second wind, the seventh wind. And I wanted to share what was coming up for me with all of you. Let's see. If you'd like to call in for a reading, I'm going to start taking some in just a couple of seconds. The number is 347-215-9485. So, I just was thinking here, I was just making sure I was looking at my notes to see that I got through everything that I wanted to say. One of the things that I would highly suggest is that you take some time to go into nature for sure, but leave the iPod in your pocket. And you'd be amazed. The other day I was going for my nature walk, and one of my friends had called me, and I was talking, and I said, you know what, I have to get off the phone, and I turned the phone off. I got off the phone, and I turned the phone off, and all of a sudden, the amount of energy and the amount that I could hear of all the nature sounds. We have the cicadas here, those bugs that are so enormous, they look like dinosaurs, they're ridiculous, but they make such an interesting noise, and the birds, the trees, and I started to get all these insights about a lot of things that have been on my mind. And I went around the park just in silence, and nature had plenty of music to listen to. So this is a really, really good time for that because everything is awake. All of the insects, all of the animals, the birds, you can see so much more than you could when you were walking earlier, in the year before everything was sort of awake. Yeah, I know I walk in the winter and stuff too, so it's a totally different experience. But, all the world whispers. It really does. Everything has a message. Everything has an energy. And if you kind of turn off the technology and really ratchet that down, just give yourself even, a lot of people say just 10 minutes a day. I think you need an hour a day. I think you need, and it doesn't have to be all at the same time. But give yourself that time to be out in nature and to let nature speak to you. There are so many messages that you will receive. If it's not just, if you're not going to, channel a downloaded message like something you hear us talk about, you'll get insight. Bring a journal with you, keep it in the car, or whatever. But you'll get insight, and also there's a lot of metaphors that will come up as you're walking as well. I find that a lot of the analogies and the different things that I use even when I'm teaching, I've gotten on a walk. Nature really is craving. We call nature spirit, God, or the God of your understanding, is always craving an opportunity for your receptivity of the messages. And this is a time, and you talk about getting a second wind, what we're really looking for is to plug back into that energy, to that infinite self, that infinite version of ourselves. We're looking for that plug to plug back in to the outlet, not into each other, not into our jobs, not into our stuff, not into the approval process of, whatever we're looking for, but to plug back into the actual source energy, to the actual universal energy, to that infinite energy. And once you do that, that's where you get that wind, that second, seventh, whatever wind you need, that's where you're going to get it from. Not from another person per se, although, the universe will obviously always use other people as messengers, or use, animals and plants and vegetables and everything, the television, whatever, as messengers, but sometimes it's just better to turn it off and to give yourself that time. One of the other really good ways to get a second wind is to completely change up what you're doing. I know that I'm generally not a routine person in my work, because I like to have variety, but I am very routine in my lifestyle. And I kind of take the same task and do this sort of similar routine. I think because there's so much up and down in what I do for a living, it's just the way, being an entrepreneur, you're always sort of moving and flowing and shifting gears and changing. So there's certain aspects of your life that become more regimented to create that foundation. But I find that when I'm really getting tired, if I just completely change what I do for a day, either change what you're eating. We have a tendency a lot of times to get in a rut with eating similar things, or change the direction. Like I might go to the same place but take a different route. All of those things, when you just give yourself small changes, because a lot of times we always look for those big changes, because that's kind of how society puts it to us. We have to change big, biggest bigger, these big, huge shifts and, sort of jump off the plank kind of changes. It's not really realistic for most people, and it's not even really doable, because change takes time and integration. But if you do small things, you'll get big rewards. So I would highly suggest just changing things up a little bit, and that's going to give you a new surge of energy, just because your eyes get to see something different. You get to experience a different flow of energy, a different, travel patterns that can make a huge difference. All right, I'm going to leave that topic for now and start to take some calls, and hopefully, Sam, you're alert and aware. It was so funny when we came back to the radio show board, which is a totally different technology than when we were doing our telesummit for how many months every day. We were both like, what's the password? How do we do this again? Wouldn't think we had been doing it for 3 years. So, all right, if you'd like to call in and ask a question, you're welcome to do so. The number is 347-215-9485. Okay, let's open the line, and let's take the question from Shelley in South Dakota. Hi, Shelley. How are you?
Good.
Welcome.
Thanks for taking my call.
Oh, I'm glad you're on. How's the weather in South Dakota? Are you guys okay out there? A lot going on in the whole middle region of the country.
Yeah. Well, today it's sunny, but typically we've had really overcast and rainy weather and a little chilly. So I don't know.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll have warmer days ahead.
Yeah. What's your question for tonight?
Well, I have been divorced from my husband for about a year, and he's still living in the house. And I guess I'm glad you had the show, because I do feel a little bit better after listening to what you've been saying about other people feeling stuck, and I feel kind of directionless. But the question I have is there a move in my future? Because I feel like that might solve some issues if we could buy a smaller house, and then he could move into his own place, and we could really finalize and separate our energies.
Absolutely, there's a move in your future, but how is it serving you for there not to be a move just yet?
How is it what?
How is it serving you right now for there not to be a move just yet?
Well, because he's helping me out financially, because
right.
I was a stay-at-home mom, and I'm stuck in what business should I start? I mean, I'm just stuck in a lot of different avenues right now, so.
Right. So
I don't know.
I would say, yeah, well, you know, but you know that, see, a lot of times what we pray for is an end result, but we don't pray for the small steps in between. So you're praying for complete financial freedom and independence and, taking care of yourself in your own place. But there's steps when you're coming out of a totally different type of lifestyle where you have taken on a role where he was the breadwinner and, you were a stay-at-home mom, so your role was to take care of the kids. And there is an education process, and there is a methodology for shifting gears and transitioning into a totally different type of lifestyle with a totally different level of responsibility. So to sort of have that expectation of, I now have to take this quantum leap, off a cliff into selling the house and finding my way without some smaller, changes in between is a little unrealistic, right? So you're right to have a little trepidation about it happening right now. But what I think would be more beneficial to you is to start to pray for a greater, one of the things that it would be really good for you to pray for, and this is one of the things the angels just said to me, is grace, Grace, to pray for grace. And what grace provides you is the energy of the infinite. It is kind of like having a beautiful, shower of light come down on your world and bless you in all aspects. So instead of saying, okay, I have to move out, or he has to get it together and he has to move out, or somebody has to move out, and sitting in the physical and the blame and the, if only he would just, leave me alone and then I could get on my, or if he had done this, then we wouldn't be getting divorced anyway, and then it would have been okay, and if we had invested this way and the money didn't go that way and all that stuff, ask for grace. Ask for grace and ask for recognition of the way. What's the way? The way that's going to make my heart sink, the way that's going to make me move through this transition and feel safe at the same time. Because that's really what you're looking for, is the sense of safety again. And you don't particularly feel safe when you're living in what now is kind of the carcass of a past, structure. It's kind of like the butterfly. You've shed a lot of the skin, but you still need the protection of the last bit of the cocoon because your wings aren't quite developed enough yet to fly. Obviously, if you just ripped the cocoon off and said, "I'll fly," the butterfly would just die. I'm not saying you're going to die, but it's not realistic to push yourself for results that aren't fair yet. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does, and that's probably the validation I needed because that's how I feel sometimes. People look at me like, "What are you doing? You're not moved out. You're still living in the house." And I'm like, "Well, wait, I'm not ready. Where am I going to
go?" Now, one of the reasons why you're not ready is because you're focused on why you're not moving at. The way that the place that I would highly suggest that you focus your energy is on what small steps can I take today to move towards that end result. So what I would do is say, take a piece of paper, and this is what I always do when I have a big goal. In fact, I was working with one of my own mentors the other day on my book, and he says, "Okay, well, he said, how can I help you?" I said, "I want you to take me backwards from my ultimate goal of having this book that's, reaches around the world to where we are today with this manuscript." So we worked backwards from that big goal. We said, okay, what would be the last step? Okay, the literary agent sells the book. What's the step before that? What's the step before that? To the point where we got to that day. And then so we had these small baby steps to take. It kind of creates a blueprint. So what I would suggest, and I've always said this, is, to get your big vision of where you want to be, in the sense of I want to be in my own home, I want to have, this kind of lifestyle, et cetera, and then work backwards from there. It feels to me like you're in more of a research phase than you are in an action phase. But you don't even let yourself research because you're still busy beating yourself up for not taking action. But how can you take action if you don't even have a plan?
Right. Well, the first thing that came to me, just a couple weeks ago, was sell the house. And then that would be one solution here. So that's why I was...
Your house will sell. When you're ready to sell, believe me, the market's better. Your house will sell. That's not an issue. But I think even if the house sold, you'd find a way to stay with that man for the time being because there would still be that fear because there's no plan. So I think it's a combination of the two. Okay? So and I don't see this lasting for much longer. It's always the breakdown right before the breakthrough. So if you're having a heightened sense of anxiety and getting, kind of really antsy, it's because the solutions are right in front of you and they're calling you forward. And a lot of times when our solutions are calling us forward, our current space becomes really uncomfortable. That's whether you're in a relationship or, about to embark on a diet or a new job or whatever it is. The discomfort level goes through the roof right before a big breakthrough. So it's not kind of like, what a lot of things are portrayed on TV. Like, oh, today I was horrible, tomorrow I was fabulous because I was a wonderful coach, and now I'm driving to Bentley and everything's wonderful. So it doesn't work like that, I mean, they time-lapse everything. So I hope that helps.
It helps a lot. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. Have a great night, Shelley. Take care.
Thanks.
Good luck with everything.
Yep. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. I can't believe it. Sam, I think we made it to the second break. Is that what? Yeah. We usually take a break right around now. Oh, my goodness. I'm trying to remember even the structure of this. Okay. So we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, I'm going to take the rest of the calls, as many as I can get through. And so if you'd like to call in, it's 347-215-9485. It's 347-215-9485. I'm Mari. You're listening to the Aha Moments radio show. We will be right back.
Do you ever get a hunch about something and ignore it, only to find out later you were right after all? Do you know that you're intuitive but need help interpreting what you get? Need quick answers to burning questions but don't have the time to wait for a private reading? Then Mari's Intuitive Living Oracle cards are the tool for you. 45 gorgeous laminated cards and a full book of interpretations come together in a beautiful velvet bag. The cards have been designed and energized to give you the answers right now. No more sleepless nights weighing pros and cons. Ask the cards your questions and see what message your intuition has for you. To learn more and get your deck now, go to the store at www.ahamomentsinc.com and click on the Intuitive Living cards now. That's the store at ahamomentsinc.com. The answers are truly within your reach.
Are you at a crossroads in your life, facing big decisions about your life purpose, business, relationships, or other major issues? Are you wondering why you may be delayed in getting what you want? Or if you have special guides who are helping you? Then investing in a private intuitive reading with Mari is just what you need. As a third-generation spiritual intuitive, Mari has worked with thousands of clients over the past 18 years. During your private session, you will learn who your guides are, receive insight on the core issues that need attention, and get new perspective, clarity, and inspiration on what to do next. To register, go to www.ahamomentsinc.com and click on the Work with Mari tab to get all of the details. There are a limited number of spots each month, so go to www.ahamomentsinc.com for yours now.
Step back in time to the very beginning, before life as we know it existed. Stones have been on this earth since before the inception of man. They are keepers of ancient wisdom and messages. Tap into the profound wisdom of stones and let your journey begin at the Rock Girl Sacred Stone School. Let the Rock Girl take you back to those ancient days to learn firsthand the language and the secrets of stones. The Rock Girl will teach you how to develop your very own technique of communicating with them, allowing you to embark on your own path of self-discovery. Courses include Reiki, psychic development, chakra balancing and auric cleansing, hands-on healing, and more. Visit sacredstoneschool.com for classes and workshops taught exclusively by the Rock Girl of therockgirl.com.
Hello, we are back. I'm Mari. You're listening to the Aha Moments radio show. Today we're talking all about getting your second wind. And I tell you, I feel like I'm getting some more energy back here. If you'd like to call in and see if you can fit yourself in for a question, I'm going to take a few more before we end the show in a little bit. And the number is 347-215-9485. Okay, let's go to Maria in Virginia. Hi, Maria. How are you?
Oh, hi. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. How can I help you tonight? What's your question?
My question is, I feel very stuck. I used to work as a photographer. That's up ended.
You know what? Can you get closer to your phone? I can't hear you. You're sounding very, very muffled. I apologize.
Is this better?
Yep, that's better. Go ahead.
Okay. I feel very stuck. To summarize, several years ago, I worked full-time as a photographer. That job ended. I did freelance work, and slowly the work went away. And I really want to go back. I understand some of the reasons why the work dried up, but I really want to go back to doing it again full-time. And but I just feel stuck financially and in other respects.
What type of business was it? You were muffled. I couldn't hear what it was. Was it photography?
It was a photography business, yes.
Okay. So what is it that you're feeling stuck? How is it that you're feeling, in what way, stuck?
I'm feeling stuck financially, and we're in my current job now, and because of other financial bills. And I'm also feeling stuck because the last time the opportunities kind of fell in my lap to a degree, and it's almost like if someone could give me a step A, step B, step C, and I could just follow a blueprint. But I know that's not so easy to come by. I have started. I just had my first paying job last week. It wasn't much, but it felt good.
Well, one of the things that your guys seem to be saying is they're saying, asking me to ask you, what is your actual goal for the photography?
My ultimate goal is to, I enjoy photographing people, and so I want to do commercial and travel photography, stock photography. What I've started doing is working more directly with consumers, so like children and families and things like that. You know, because it's a little bit easier to start that, but that's not what I did when I was working.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. One of the things that I heard you say, and I want to caution you in saying that is, and this is one of the reasons why it's not happening. In fact, they're saying it's the biggest reason why it's not coming to fruition, is that you keep saying, I want to go back to. And when you say go back to, it's implying that you can actually do that, and you can't. There is no energy that's the same. Everything moves forward. You know, so whenever someone says, I want to go back to, they're always setting themselves up for failure because there is no going back. What I would highly suggest is just start to shift your phraseology. Your words are really, really powerful, saying, I'm willing and ready to contribute my creative energies to go forward towards this, you know, and then insert ideal photography position, whether it's working for yourself or working, you know, for someone else. But when you say back, what it implies is kind of a rewind of the energy, and you can't. You've grown since then. You know what I'm saying? You've actually shifted and changed. So we can never recapture what we, quote, had, but what we can do is take the parts of the characteristics and the aspects of what we were perceiving ourselves to have then, and then say, I'd like for aspects of where I am going now to include this. That alone is going to lighten up the energy and allow more of that flow. The current is the currency, which is money, goes with the current of your own energy. And if your energy is going backwards, so is your money, which is one of the reasons why it dries up. Now, the other thing that they did mention is, do you believe in your photography and in your own creative abilities in that regard?
I know that I have talent because I've seen it when I worked for a company, even though ultimately I want to work for myself. I know that. But I know that, what's the way of putting it? I guess it's a matter of believing in myself in general. It's not that I don't know that there's a talent there. It's just wondering, I don't believe that I can run my own business. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. I'm not sure I believe it, but I can handle the business side of it. You know.
So you're not concerned about the creative side of it, but that self-doubt, that big self, they're shining a big, like, on a billboard in front of me clairvoyantly saying self-doubt, self-doubt, self-doubt. And one of the things I would suggest is that you connect with 3 or 4 photographers who are very successful and just do informational interviews with them and ask them how they got started in some of the pitfalls and some of the, highs and lows of, what they did. Because a lot of times there's actual virtual assistants and there's actual, like, teams of people who are sort of specialized in helping photographers. There's other teams who help realtors, as far as organizing their businesses and doing the back end of their businesses. And I would highly suggest that you informationally interview, which just means, calling up and asking for 15 minutes of their time to ask them how they became successful and say that you're in the process of developing your business. I would probably ask folks who are maybe on the other side of the country or something who wouldn't perceive you as being competitive, because that's not what your intention is. It's just to get more knowledge and wisdom about, or more knowledge so you can apply it to create that, experiential wisdom for you to help you on your way. It feels more like you're expecting that being an entrepreneur means you have to do it all yourself, and that's really not true. Being an entrepreneur means that, yes, there are sometimes you're going to have to multitask more than most, but it means that you have to also know how to call in the right people to support you in the parts that you're not going to, necessarily be great at. You can't be great at everything, so that's that would be a stair step. The other thing is, it feels to me like there will be some work coming up for you that's a little bit steadier than freelance, but not as shut down as like corporate photography, where you can't have a piece of breathing room because you're working for someone else the whole time. It feels like maybe working with a film company who needs still photography, or who does industrial work in addition to creative work, would be the right. It feels like something like that would bubble up for you to give you sort of that halfway, because it definitely feels like you're going to have sort of a halfway position where you're developing your own business, but have meantime money, but in the arena of, where you want to go. That's the most important thing, is this: if you're going to need meantime money, which you do, that you make sure that you earn that money in the arena of what your passion is, which is in the photography business, whether it's maybe even working for iStock Photo or Getty Images or any of these, these big stock photography places, looking on their website, looking under their job listings and seeing if there's something there that you could do virtually, with some sort of transferable skill. It may not even be the photography. Maybe it's filing. Maybe it's doing reception, but at least you're in the arena. You know what I'm saying? So that you're getting that exposure, and it's not cannibalizing your energy. Because what happens is, if you went right now and went and worked for, Colgate-Palmolive, but you want to be a photographer, that kills your energy. It kills your spirit. You have no time. You're exhausted, and you're being pulled in a direction that doesn't make sense. But if you put yourself kind of in the thick of the photography thing, you'll see it'll bubble up. I would say, over the next 6 to 12 months, this will all shake itself out. But the most important thing you have to stop doing is saying, I want to go back. That is the most major energetic influence that's stopping your progress. I'm ready to move forward.
I agree with you, and I agree that the job I am now, the word cannibalize is perfect. It completely cannibalizes my energy and my time. And I'm wondering, do you know when this opportunity is going to come my way to work with a studio?
It's not going to be something that just drops out of the sky because Mari says. It's something that, as you open this energy up that we're talking about, you're going to allow it into you. It's right there. It's not like, you need a psychic to predict when. It's a matter of you adopting that energy that I'm ready to move forward now, and I'm ready to be empowered in my choice. I'm choosing now to allow this type of position into my world. Before this conversation that we're having right now, you were saying, I want to go back, I want to go back, I want to go back. So you're commanding the energy backward. Now, you'll get off this call, and say, I'm ready to go forward. I'm ready for this contribution. Take your notebook, write down exactly the type of position that's not going to cannibalize you, that's going to help celebrate you. And then start focusing on, I'm ready, I am allowing myself to receive this, I'm allowing myself to attract this, I'm allowing myself to focus in this direction, and then that will spin the energy, and it can come in an instant. It doesn't have to. It's not a matter of a time frame. Time doesn't really exist anyway. I mean, it's way too big of a conversation for a radio show, but it doesn't exist. What exists is your willingness, and it was just a matter of your energy spinning because you're stressed out and you're doubting yourself about the business. But if we take off, you don't have to start your own photography business and be, the next big jumbo, commercial photographer by next week. That's something that takes time. It takes time to build, a photography business. So you need to allow yourself a chunk of time for research and development of yourself, a chunk of time for attracting that, that right position that's going to support you in the meantime, and a chunk of time for developing your own creative talents. And when you kind of divide your time a third, and then you take the other quarter and use it for your own personal nurturing, like regular life stuff, you'll be fine. It's going to work itself out. But don't think of it as, okay, Mari the psychic said, okay, I'm going to have this by August, and then I can start to live. No, start today. That can configure instantly. That kind of job that we just talked about is a dime a dozen. Everybody and their mother has a film company now. They are all over the place. I happen to be in the business of that. I'm developing a television show for myself right now. There are opportunities all over the place. So you're a Google search away, literally. It's not far. It's your energy, and just shifting that mindset, shifting that way that you're. I hate the word mindset. That mind flow. Okay. Shifting that mind flow to what we just talked about, just listen to the podcast, you'll be able to, get the recording right away. Just listen to the podcast again of this, and you'll flow. The flow will happen, and that's really all you need. You've got the talent. I think you're just putting too much pressure on yourself. You have like kind of that perfectionistic pressure that it has to all be, just give me the yellow brick road so I can follow it. That's not how entrepreneurship works. It's kind of create as you go. And there's also going to be highs and lows. But for right now, focus on allowing things in to your present and moving forward and not going back, and I think you'll get to where you want to go pretty quickly. All right, so I'm going to have to jump off, but I hope that's been a little bit helpful. And
thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great night and good luck. Keep in touch and let us know how you're doing. Okay, let's see if we can fit one more person in. How about Sandra in New York?
Hi,
Hello,
Mari.
Sandra?
Thank
Hi.
you so much for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'll get right down to the nuts and bolts of it.
Okay.
I just feel like I'm not going to use the S word, but I just feel like I'm kind of stagnant a little bit. I'll use the other S word.
Okay.
Hard to get my energy back up. Was listening to what you said in the beginning, and yeah, I guess that must be what's going on with me. And I think I have so many changes that are happening at one time that I feel a little unsettled.
Okay, so what's the question?
How do I kind of pull up my energy to get myself moving forward again?
Well, the word that's coming up is disorganized. And everything is at a 10. And when you look at your priority of everything that you're like, it's kind of like you're walking in a circle, and everything is at a 10. And everything isn't really at a 10 if you look at it, but you're reacting to everything as if on a scale of 1 to 10, it's all a 10. And that's what will make you feel exhausted, which will make you just shut down, which just makes you feel stuck and stagnant. So what they're saying is kind of almost like the last gal, pick a vision of what you really want and allow yourself to sort of step into that vision and then look at all these different changes that are happening and then prioritize based on that vision. It seems like you're kind of letting the cart before the horse kind of thing, and then you're getting run over by the cart. So, kind of grab the horse, put it in front of the cart, and say, okay, the horse is the vision, and we're marching towards that. Or the horse, the vision is the carrot in front of the horse. Now we have the horse, then we have the cart. The cart is the tasking behind you. So it's kind of like that. That tasking energy has sort of cannibalized all of it, and you have to give yourself time. The visioning, okay, and the creative energy is not the Antichrist. All right, and a lot of people who are smart like you are and who are doers like you are, you can get a lot done, have a tendency to say, okay, well, that's a luxury, the visioning thing, and that other thing is a luxury, but I have to get all these things done. And that's where you start to feel stuck, because if there's no inspiration and there's no vision, doing all those tasks makes no sense. So your whole energy knows to shut down.
Yeah, it's totally shut down, and I haven't been doing anything for like months.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just like, it's totally like saying, all right. Yeah, it's totally like putting me out on the bench and just saying, all right, you're out on the bench, just relax.
Yeah, and that's what your body really wants, because your body knows that when you relax, you will give the energies that your infinite self, the option, a word and edgewise, to send information, support, and inspiration, more importantly, and insight to you, if you just sit down and shut up and relax, right? So, and the other part of you is kind of like the Gestapo who's saying, "Go now, you're a New Yorker. Come on, I know." It's kind of like I'm a New Yorker too. It's in our blood. It's about go. It's about get it done. It's about compete. It's about you got to show. You have to have the success. You know, blah 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 blah. But there's a balance, and honestly, I would say 3/4 of the time visioning and 1/4 of the time taking action on the vision and the inspiration you will get way further, way faster than the other way around. Okay. It's actually a lot more energy and then a little bit of action, not all this action with no energy. So I have to wrap the show, but hopefully that'll give you a little bit of
it does. It does.
Insight.
Thank you
all
very
right,
much.
Don't give up. You're very, very welcome. All right.
God bless.
Have a great night. Take care. You too. All right. So, wow, we have come to the end of another Aha Moments radio show. I would just like to say thank you to everybody who kept listening, even when we weren't on the air. I was telling Sam we had thousands of you listening each week, and we didn't have a live show for, I don't know, what is it, 6 weeks or so. So I'd like to say thank you for listening to the podcast and for really enjoying the show and letting us know all about that. And next week we are going to have Rudy Hunter on the show, so you definitely want to tune in next week as well. We're going to be booking guests for the summer, so I'll be letting you know about them. But Rudy was very, very popular at the Telesummit. He graciously agreed to give me his very last available Tuesday for the whole summer next week, so you want to make sure you tune in for that. All right, so I think that's it for tonight. I'd just like to say, to end the show like I always do, by saying my motto, which is you truly can have exactly what you want. You absolutely deserve it too. And in this energy, anything is possible. Take care, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.
You've been listening to the Aha Moments radio show with your host, Mari. Be sure to visit her blog and website at www.ahamomentsinc.com. That's AHA, moments with an S, inc.com. Also join Mari on Facebook at www.facebook.com/ahamomentsinc and Twitter at twitter.com/ahamoments. We can't wait to see you there.